Let's try and get a perspective on what this means, the entire political dynamic that is playing out in Venezuela. I'm joined by Diego Sequeira. He's a political analyst and journalist as well as columnist, joining us live from Caracas. Diego, good evening. Thank you very much for sparing the time amid all the unrest that is happening in your country. I want to start by asking you how you see the entire political dynamic that is playing out in your country. You know, you've got Delcy Rodriguez, who's been sworn in. Brother is there, who's been re-elected to the National Assembly. There is, of course, the army chief. So basically, Nicolas Maduro is out, but those who are close to him, the old regime, is still there. Wouldn't this lead to an internal rift?
Well, this is not an old regime. This is not a different government. This is continuity of government in all its legal, constitutional frame. A government that already states that we have an interim president because the legitimate elected president is being kidnapped by the United States, as we all very well know up to this point. But there is no dramatic shift in that sense. I mean, in the sense of, if you see it from a state and legal perspective. So there's this attempt to spin it as something else, as full 100% regime change or something which is not. I mean, that's what people need to understand. Especially it has been clearly stated by the current interim president that the president is Nicolas Maduro, and we are expecting him to come back at some point, and that's the official position, I might add. I'm not a government official, of course, but that's what you can interpret of all that has been said and done under the frame of the Constitution.
You know, Diego, a lot of people think that this will benefit the Venezuelans. The fact that Delcy Rodriguez is at the helm of affairs and now there's change coming in. You tell us, will it benefit all of you Venezuelans there?
No, of course not. Especially under this frame, especially as operating with, long-arm imperial jurisdiction. It has no actual legal basis on any level. It's just a whimsical approach to this. And it's a government, by the way, not only a regime. I think regimes are everywhere in the world, but this is the Venezuelan government. So it's hard to predict that up to this point what is going to happen, I don't know, in a few days' time in order to have, a picture more maybe stabilized. But reality here now, it's really calm at this moment. So that actually challenges the U.S. narrative about saying that they have the country under control. They don't. They actually don't have a plan after the kidnapping, which it was to kidnap. And there's, like I said, there's no legal context for this. There's no legal ground for what they do, and there's no legal justification.
You know, Diego, it's interesting because the U.S. President Donald Trump and the Secretary of State Marco Rubio continue to say that Venezuelans are happy that this change is taking place, but you call it the kidnapping of your president, Nicolas Maduro. Whom does the world believe?
I don't know how you're going to believe the drug story when it was basically fizzling out throughout this 4 or 5 months of pressure. And especially when that narrative basically was shifted into what they wanted. It's oil. They said it clearly. It is about oil, and it is about pushing, according to their national security strategy, it's about pushing the extra hemispherical actors out of the Western Hemisphere. So there you go. I mean, if it is a matter of narratives, which one is the most coherent one that's been constantly the same, that it's denouncing, it's being attacked under pressure, under lawfare, under sanctions, under many kinds of disruptions, openly stated by the U.S. government throughout all these days, or are you going to believe Donald Trump or Marco Rubio for that matter?
Diego, I also want to talk about Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado. She's somebody who's widely recognized as a top opposition leader of Venezuela. She's a celebrated leader. She's even been praised by Donald Trump and his administration. She was not made the president, as was widely expected, and now she's called Delcy Rodriguez as the architect of torture. I want to understand from you what Venezuelans think of Machado. What's the popular sentiment about her?
Well, I'm happy to ruin that perception party because Maria Corina Machado doesn't have the numbers here. And this is even acknowledged by the same people that should have, after a regime change, imposed her, and they didn't. They don't see her. You can see Trump talking about her one more time. And for Trump, it's actually personal because of the Nobel Prize nomination and the efforts of Maria Corina Machado to get Trump's approval. So she doesn't have those numbers here, and she's not capable either to run the country at all. I mean, she's just going to, and if you follow what she's been saying in many forums and interviews, she's just openly stating that she's going to open the gates of the country for U.S. companies in some sort of windfall fire sale situation.
And so in conclusion, Diego, I want to ask you what you think and how you think Venezuela can now move forward with the kind of military strikes that have happened on America's part. And now with this regime, with this government being sworn in, Nicolas Maduro being out, how do you see your country moving forward?
It's uncertain, but one thing is quite clear. I mean, no one inside Venezuela wants what the U.S. wants, in the sense that they are very interested in us doing their bit in doing regime change. No one wants internal conflict. No one is actually celebrating. The people, the Venezuelans that are celebrating, are the diaspora. And the middle class diaspora that has enough time and money to be on social media, because there's another part of the diaspora that simply it's working and unable to participate and doesn't care that much. And many of that part of the segment of the diaspora is actually coming back to Venezuela. So there's no celebration, there's no party. And regardless if they support or not Nicolas Maduro, the overwhelming majority do not approve the resolution, quote unquote, of our problems by a foreign action, especially the United States.
All right, Diego, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for sparing the time for us and sharing your experience and your perspective. I hope your country achieves peace and stability as soon as possible. Stay safe. Thank you very much for joining us on WION.